So, are you sure those people aren't showing up
You be talking
We'll see, just in case. And then we're gonna do the report for auditors, okay? Okay. All right, make sure it's the one that's there. Thank you.
Yeah, but whenever they drop it down. They have
Does everyone have a piece of paper?
I found out that they built that module I could use, and I did it. I was like, hey, I heard the talk to
Okay, we're gonna start. You guys ready? So this is purposeful talk. In case you're in the wrong room, I guess you should just say. Our learning objective for today is we will discuss and identify components of frequent small group purposeful talk. You will create and facilitate a purposeful group talk amongst your groups. Okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some examples of purposeful talk within the classroom. So on your paper, you have some questions. You don't have to write during a video, but think about it while you're watching the video. I want you to pay attention to what the students are doing, right? So what they're saying and their behavior. I want you to pay attention to what the teacher is doing. So what are they saying? What are they doing? Where is their location? Those are the things I need you to pay attention to. All right, before we begin, do we have any questions? No? Okay, good.
Just waiting for one more pen. Excellent. Right. If you have, in that amount of time, if you were not able to answer one of the questions, we're about to move into a 2-minute turn and talk. Sydney, what are you going to do if you don't have an answer to a response? You're going to write down. How are you going to get that answer, maybe? Right. So you're going to talk to either the person next to you. So Justine's going to have to kind of move over. Talk to the person next to you and get the answers. 2-minute turn and talk. Off you go. Silent talking, please.
We're going to learn to estimate the location of fractions on a number line using benchmarks. How are these fraction models the same? How are these fraction models different? I want you to think about it to yourself. Talk to your partner.
So they would all be the same value but different numbers. And then how they different is that different numbers, which is different fractions.
No, look, 5, 6 is closest to 1. Like Joe because you have 5 out of 6. And you only need 1 more to make a whole. 3, 6. Yeah. And then 1, 6 is so the closest to 1. Because if you lost that.
What does this tell us about Law's character? This tells us.
Oops, did I hit mute?
This tells us about the characteristics that
talked about this, you guys, so you should have an idea. I want you to pair share with your partner what you think that means. Talk through race with your partner. Everybody ready? Pair? Pair? Share.
Share.
Partner A, turn and teach partner B how you solve your problem. Turn, when I say turn, you say teach. Turn, teach.
If you guys would please take out a piece of paper. All you need is a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. All right, as you know, we just finished up a whole unit on the age of absolutism, absolute government. You wrote a short story, what it would be like if you had absolute power. You did projects with propaganda on absolute rulers during the time period. The next big unit that we're going to be covering is the age of revolution. The revolution, most specifically the French Revolution. So there's this time in between here with the question mark that how do we get from age of absolutism, absolute power, monarchs being in total and complete control, to where the citizens revolt. So how did that logically connect? So I want to ask you this, and I want you to write this down very quickly. Why do you think that revolution is the next big unit of study? What do you think, what do you know about, from what you have read and what you've studied and what you know about people, that if you have an absolute power, a dictator, an absolute monarch, why would revolution be a next unit of study? So just take a minute and think about that and jot that down in your paper. Okay, some of you might be completely finished writing it down, some of you might still be finishing down, but you pretty much know what you think. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to share it with the person sitting next to you, why you think we're going from absolute power to revolution. What do you think about humans? So go ahead and talk, whether you're done writing or not. Go ahead and talk with your person. Whether you're done writing or not, go ahead and talk. It's just to get your things. Hey guys, I want you guys to turn around and share it with the people behind you. Okay, you two.
When you get your whiteboard, you're going to set it up like this. We're going to be working on number 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you want your grid to be set up with 4 different areas, 1 for each of these graphs. I'm going to give everybody the analyzing part, and the ideas that I want you to focus in on first are number 1, 2, and 3. For the conversations that you're having with your group members, these are going to come in the most handy for what we're doing today.
Okay, so I'm going to give you about 3 to 4 minutes to write your answers to those questions below. So what are the students doing? What is the teacher doing? And how would you use this in your classroom? So quietly to yourself, 3 to 4 minutes to write your answers. Anyone else while I'm at it? Need a piece of paper? If you're not finished, that's okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take 2 to 3 minutes. I want you to turn to your group members and share your answers. So do a turn and talk in your group, please. That means for Sharon, yes, no, share your answers, please. What did you notice the teacher doing, your students doing, how it uses in your class? There's the time for you to talk. Go ahead, talk.
Key card. She said that the district has to bring the technology.
So then they compare notes and say like, hey, what things you did, things are like, I can't be very specific, what answers are they doing, what are they trying to do, things
Okay, that's time. Ready? Okay. All right, so, from each group member, or each group, I'm gonna cold call you just to see what was said. So, Kelly, tell me something that your group shared about what students were doing.
Oh, so what the students were doing? They are reflecting on their understanding, they're checking with each other, they're practicing with each other, and even gives opportunities for, teaching and their classmates doesn't seem to have the concept.
Justin, tell me something from your group that wasn't already shared that the students were doing.
We thought the pre-write and pre-discussion point was very important, where they had a moment to kind of gather their thoughts before they had to turn and discuss them.
Right, so they had time for reflection, they had time to write, and then they did the purposeful talk. Those are our instructional focus, right? So they're pairing it together and targeting both at the same time. Very good. Let's see here. I wish I knew everybody's names. I'm so sorry. Go ahead and tell me something from this group.
Which one? What are the students doing or teachers doing?
Students doing.
We said that they were also helping establish expectations, meaning that they knew what they were supposed to be doing, and they were able to guide one
So
another.
students were establishing expectations?
As well as the teacher, but like if, in one of the clips, they were
Right.
explaining what they're supposed to be doing.
That's very good. So they practiced it so much that even the students are, showing those expectations and helping each other along. So that's what makes us really good when we do purposeful talk, is when we're practicing it and it becomes routine. This group, tell me something from what the students are doing.
It's connected to what other people are saying though, like there was a clear understanding of the procedures, and I think that helped out making sure that the students were accountable in their conversations. You didn't see a lot of maybe kind of off task. They knew the expectation, and so they immediately jumped in and felt comfortable.
Right, what did you guys notice about the language in the groups? What type of language were they using?
We're using academic.
What's that?
I said they were using academic language.
They were using academic language the entire time, right? It's an opportunity for students to use that academic language because otherwise they don't use it, right? So that's also valuable.
Amber, we said they were collaborating.
Very good, yes.
Good word.
Can you tell me something the teacher was doing, this group that you guys shared?
We said she was just guiding the giving the topics.
How did she do that? Be more specific.
She told them what to talk about and then kind of walked around and.
She wrote it on the board? I don't know, what do you?
Okay, on the board, they did have some things where they had like analyze cards, like she had STEM cards prepared for some conversations, so if they were gonna analyze and go a little bit deeper. This group, can you guys tell me something that the teacher was doing?
The teacher was, we're talking about, what they covered in the previous unit, and then she explains what they're gonna cover in the next one, and then in between, one of the teachers is asking, what they think that is gonna be in between, and she asked
So she asked a question.
Yes, and
Very
then she asked
good.
a question, and then the students start, discussing what they believe that is going to happen.
She also allowed the students to have a teaching moment.
Right, very good. Ms. Larson, your group, can you tell me something the teacher is doing?
She was keeping them on task.
Good, how does she do that? Can you elaborate?
Well, there was, at one point, they were supposed to be writing, or they were writing, and then she told them to stop writing.
Okay.
And so she was walking around the room, no, don't write.
Right, where's her location?
So she's walking around the room, she's with the kids, she's not.
She's in the power zone. She's in the power zone, very good. Tell me one more thing that teacher's doing for this group.
As the teacher's in the power zone walking around and listening, she's also,
Listen, guys.
constantly judging how much more time is needed and whether they're done or not.
Very good. Okay, so one of the things that was said was that, one, processes and procedures, but specifically also that they're asking questions. So one of the things I want you to walk away from this PD is that anytime you ask a question, that's an opportunity for your students to have purposeful talk, right? And we do that a lot. We ask questions a lot in the classroom. So what that means when we're coming in, we see all these opportunities and we should see them having those opportunities, okay? All right, this is the type of questions that facilitate purposeful talk. These types of questions over here, the SMART questions, they're actually questions that you ask every time you teach. It's just instinctual, right? Because you're constantly asking questions while you're doing a direct teach. They're also the types of questions that you can quickly do a turn and talk. Hey, quickly turn and talk about that. The smarter questions and the smartest questions in the beginning might take time. You might have to think about them and script them out ahead of time to produce those deeper levels of student discourse, right? But with practice, usually you become natural with that as well.
And the big thing that one of the reasons why we put this PD together, we thought that this was really important to do is because we see so many opportunities for purposeful talk within your lessons. Like, y'all have rock solid lessons, right? And I think sometimes we get to the point where we're just like, I gotta move on. Like, if we just did vocabulary, we just looked over it, have them talk about it. Use some of these questions, say, which word do you think is most important? Or which words go together? Or which words do like that? It's just one of those intentionally thinking about it. And again, we're on the outside looking in, so we're here to think about those things. But if you just start having those conversations, looking at your own lessons of where can I insert something else where they can talk about it? Because again, they're just now interacting with the material in a different way so they can get a better understanding of it. Yeah, they wrote it down. Yeah, they did this. But now have them talk about it. They can hear about, and again, you get to hear about it from somebody else. Like, Ryan might have an epiphany of something I never thought of, and then now I get to hear from him. But if I don't give him that opportunity to talk to his neighbor about it, you're never gonna get it. So, just don't, I guess my focus is, don't think about, I need to get through the material all the time, but how can I go deeper?
What's your question?
I not only ask my students to answer my questions, but I want them asking me questions, and I grade them on whether they're asking questions.
Right, and that's a fantastic point. I want to elaborate a little bit on that because what you see commonly in the classroom is I'm an instructor and we're constantly interengaging, right? In fact, what the most common thing that happens is when I give them a directive and say, turn and talk, if a student doesn't understand it, who do they speak to first?
The person next to them.
No, they ask me, and then I can't help it. I want to answer a question. I'm like, oh, it's this and this and this and that. what happened then? I robbed the opportunity of that kid to turn and ask their peer, right? It's so valuable when a kid has to think through what they're learning, process it, figure out how they're gonna say it to the other person so that they understand it. That's why purposeful talk is so powerful, all right? So that's because you guys are about to do an activity, and I want you to keep that in mind, because that's the thing that, like, I always fail on, right? And I don't want you guys to fail on it. I want you to take that opportunity and have that purposeful talk. All right, so quietly to yourself, you can flip over your paper. You got another stack there. I want you to write one seed question from a class you teach, right? So just write one question that you would use for purposeful talk in your classroom. If you're struggling, let me know. I can put up an example if I have to. But I want to try to not do that. I want to see what you guys can produce. You did see a couple examples in the video. Yeah, I'll go back here. You can look at this. It doesn't have to be the hardest one. If you want to try the middle smarter question or smart question set, it's fine. How we doing?
Oh, she's a science teacher. So she
Are we
knows
good?
if it's good or not.
We are? Okay, great, fantastic. So let me go back.
Yeah, okay, are we going more earth? So it's my kids. I want to take first.
Okay. You guys ready? Okay, so everybody that is highlighted in yellow, I want you to stand up. So everybody who's highlighted in yellow, please stand up. Okay, I need you to be quiet so you can listen to the directions, all right? So, ready? What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of role playing. The person who is standing up, they are gonna model and facilitate their purposeful talk to their group members, right? Group members, you are going to be students, right? Not the mean students, but the good students, okay? If we have time for a second round, we'll let you be mean students and see how they do with that. But first go around, we're good students, okay? Is everybody clear on the directions? Are you standing up for this group? Okay, perfect. So everybody's good? Yeah. All right. Remember, you're going to ask your question. Then what do you want to do next? Let them think about it, and then what? How do they know to talk? How do they know when to start talking? When you give them a directive, whatever your directive is, go ahead and discuss now, turn and talk. Whatever your directive is, but give them a directive, right? The other thing is, don't fall into the trap. Don't answer that question if they ask you a question, okay? And then lastly, close it off. Only give them 2 to 3 minutes. All right, you may begin. Go ahead and go.
What is it that you're supposed to are not feeling prepared for it, or you don't jot that down?
Science and history.
I just joined the I just joined the class.
If your group is done, you may pick another person to stand up and now go.
Put their work on the board. Say, this is like, to say, like, I would have never for your assignments. I would do it this way, without an absolute, because everybody would get things done. So, around, you can say, what is it that you're
Okay, if your group is done, pick a person, and that person stands up and asks their C question. Let's rotate. So Hannah, you go next. What are you doing? Okay, you pick.
So we just talked about.
Second person, they go down.
He's unsure of how to get this. We were just like,
Okay, let's have one more person. You're up. Stand up for me and facilitate and walk to the top. Here's your question. Stand up,
So you have to split up the
Who's next in this group? Perfect. You go ahead and go. Stand up and ask your question. Alright, hey, eyes and ears back up here. Everybody have a seat. Have a seat for me, please, so I know everybody's ready to focus.
All right, we need to wrap it up, guys, so let's be quiet so we can let her finish. Thank you.
Alright, we're almost done. What I want you to do is quietly to yourselves think about what was our learning objective today. Alright, so just quietly to yourself, no talking at all. Alright, you don't have to write if you don't want to. If you do, that's fine too. Think about how you did or how we did as a group. Quietly to yourself. Okay, our learning objective today was we will discuss and identify effective components of frequent small group purposeful talk, right? You were to create and facilitate purposeful talk amongst your group, right? So, let's check and see how we did. So, Ms. Gomez, give me one effective component of frequent small group purposeful talk. Ms. Gomez?
She's right next to you.
Okay.
You said one?
Yes, one component of effective frequent small group purposeful talk.
Students have to make sure they problem solve together, try to problem solve.
Okay, so that's a result. Thank you. What's something that facilitates it? What's something that makes it happen?
Monitoring.
So they're in the power zone, they're monitoring, very good. Go ahead.
Setting expectations.
Good, they're setting expectations, so it means they have processes and procedures in place, they've practiced it enough that it's actually fluid. All right, this group, give me one. Sorry, I don't know everyone's name.
One thing that we have learned as part of the learning objectives is how to prepare students for this purposeful talk. One of the things that I noticed in the video was like, what happens if you don't exactly know this answer? What are your options to do? And so preparing students for
Right, in the very first clip, he's asking that student, what are you gonna do if you don't know the answer? So the kid says, I'm gonna turn and ask my partner. Good. What's another effective component of frequent small group purposeful talk? What else do you need as a teacher to facilitate this? Your group. Go ahead, Anna.
Just like clear questions and.
Good, questions. Scripted out questions. Good. This group, where does the teacher have to be during purposeful talk? Everywhere. In the power zone. You have to be in the power zone. Let's see. This group, give me one more effective component of purposeful talk. Right. Right. Have a plan. Right. Scripting out the questions. Plan your processes and procedures. Think about what she said academic language. Sometimes just as important as planning out those questions is also planning out the responses. Like right now for this PD, I've asked questions, but I'm expecting certain answers with each question, right? All right, so just to sum it up, because I'm running out of time, the teacher needs to be in power zone. There needs to be time for reflection, scripting out the questions, group size. They need to have groups. Right, if you're in rows and are isolated, I love it when I walk in and they say, all right, turn and talk to your partner, and I can tell when it's the very first time they've ever said that. And two, the kids are islands. What happens, guys? Do they talk? No.
Not about the lesson.
Yes, exactly. Your classroom and your processes and procedures have to be planned out. Right? I planned the groups before I came in, and then people enrolled last minute. But they were planned with similar content, math and science grouped together, history and English. That's the type of planning that does involve in it. All right, that's it, guys. If you need any help or support or questions, there's my phone number or email. Please reach out. Thank you guys. Sorry.